So I'm 24 years old and I decided to go to Paraguay to teach English and Bible class at a school literally out in the middle of the desert. I wake up one morning and the dean from the school tells me, hey, we need to go to the hospital. There's a kid with severe pain. At first, we're thinking to ourselves, you know what, let's go to the doctor. Maybe he knows a little bit more. So to get to the doctor, it took us 2 hours of hitchhiking, walking, taking the bus, running, whatever it took to get there. Finally, we got to the doctor. And when we got inside, the doctor took like 5 minutes and looked at him and said, he has appendicitis. He needs to get operated tonight. So then we're like, okay, to get to the hospital from this point, it's going to take another 2 hours, 4 hours total. Now, I mean 4 hours in an automobile, not walking. Finally get there at 9 o'clock at night. The hospital receives us. I talk to the doctor. We tell them what's going on. He checks the kid out. This kid is like 6 years old. And the first thing they ask us is, it's going to be around $500, $600. For me, coming from the US, I'm thinking to myself, this is an amazing price. Luckily, I had some money in my savings. I pulled it out of the ATM, went to the doctor, gave him the money, and they went and proceeded with surgery. When the surgery was done, the doctor came out and he gave me this little canister. And I looked inside and I realized it was the appendix. He said to me, you paid for it, it's yours. And I was like, nah, you can keep it. So we got out of there around 11 or 12 o'clock at night and the buses stopped running. We had about 4-hour journey to get home in automobile. So luckily we hitchhiked with these 3 guys in this small truck. It was a total of like 6 of us smashed into this truck and like nobody's wearing seatbelts. And then I start to smell alcohol and I ask the dean of the school, hey, are these guys drinking? And she's like, yes. I said, what about the driver? She said, especially the driver. So I make my peace with God and I'm like, all right, God, I guess today's the day that I'm going home. Around two hours in this journey, one of the tires gets a flat. So we get out, they get out, we go our way, we say thank you, and we keep walking, and then we realize we're only 2 hours away from home. Again, in automobile, not walking. So right there in the middle of the desert, we decide to make camp. And let me tell you, a desert at night, at least that desert, is not hot. It was freezing cold. I think I prayed for a good 3 hours straight. I was just talking to God and just making my peace. And I was just finding my hope in Jesus in that moment. Look, this is the truth. I had my phone. I had some money. In that moment, that money and that phone meant nothing. I was thinking to myself as I was pacing back and forth in that cold desert. Back home, I can call about 30 people. But in this moment right now, I had nobody I can fall onto. Nobody that can really help me. So you could be sure that I got close to God that night. The dean and the teacher, they just fell asleep right there in the road because it was the only thing giving out heat. Around 5:45 in the morning, I see some headlights coming towards us. And I realize it's the bus. I wake up the dean and the teacher. We get up. We chase down this bus. Finally, we get in the bus, but the bus is going the opposite direction. So we need to go back before we can go forward. So we stop at this one last bus stop. And I'm done. I am tired. I'm falling asleep on the picnic table at this restaurant that is closed. And we're just waiting for the last bus. Finally, it comes and I am celebrating. And our dean, the teacher, says in Spanish, don't sound the trumpets yet. Meaning, don't celebrate too soon. We're not home yet. And as I'm getting into the bus, I put my hand on the top where it's actually the floor as you're going into the bus. And this guy steps on my fingers with all his weight. And I was holding back everything in myself not to yell. Happy to say that that kid got everything he needed. We got home and I got to rest all day.